Hello everyone! Are you ready to listen to our infomercial today? Well, if you're ready, let's now talk about the 17th century in Europe. The 17th century is revered among scientists as an age of great discovery. This is the century of Galileo, Kepler, Bacon, Pascal, Descartes, and Newton. The 17th century saw the rise of those we now call scientists. They call themselves the natural philosophers. These men caused a profound change in the culture, outlook, and lives of the human beings. There were a lot of physicians, surgeons, and dentists in the 17th century. First on the list is William Harvey. He discovered that the human heart is a pump that circulates the blood. Next is Paracelsus. He said that the human body is a vessel of chemical reactions affected by plants and minerals. And of course, Ambroise Parr said that the blood vessels should be tied during amputation to prevent the patient from bleeding to death. Now, let's talk about the physicians in the 17th century. Did you know in 1628, William Harvey published his thesis on how blood circulates around the body? Apart from Harvey, the most famous English doctor of the 17th century was Thomas Sydenham. He is sometimes called the English Hippocrates because he emphasized the importance of carefully observing patients and their symptoms. Also, medicine was helped by the microscope invented at the end of the 16th century. Robert Hooke was the first person to describe cells in his book, Micrographia, published in 1665. However, in 1683, Anthony van Leeuwenhoek managed to see individual red blood cells and also identified bacteria under the microscope, although he did not appreciate their significance. And here is Mary Collinet. She developed improved techniques for cesarean section and was probably the first clinician to use a magnet to remove metal fragments from a patient's eye. Urologically, this was the era of traveling lithotomists who toured the country removing bladder stones through incisions in the perineum without any form of anesthesia. Lithotomists of this era included Thomas Hollier, who in 1662 operated on the diary Sambal Pepys to remove his stone. And let's proceed to the surgeons of the 17th century. John Hunter, generally regarded as the father of modern scientific surgery, he brought an empirical and experimental approach to science and was renowned around Europe for the quality of his research and his written works. Hunter reconstructed surgical knowledge from scratch. Refusing to rely on the testimonies of others, he conducted his own surgical experiments to determine the truth of the matter. And Hunter's student, Benjamin Bell, became the first scientific surgeon in Scotland, advocating the routine use of opium in post-operative recovery and counseling surgeons to save skin to speed healing. Other important 18th and early 19th century surgeons included Percival Pott, who first described tuberculosis on the spine and first demonstrated that the cancer may be caused by an environmental carcinogen after he noticed a connection between chimney sweeps exposure to soot and their high incidence of scrotal cancer. And of course, Ashley Paston Cooper, he first performed a successful ligation of the abdominal aorta. James Syme, who pioneered the Syme's amputation for the ankle joint and successfully carried out the first hip disarticulations, and Antonius Matthijssen, who is a Dutch surgeon, invented the plaster of Paris cast in 1851. And of course, the dentist, Pierre Fauchard, the French surgeon, became known as the father of modern dentistry. Despite the limitations of the primitive surgical instruments during the late 17th and early 18th century, he asserted that sugar derivative acids like tartaric acids were responsible for dental decay, and also suggested that tumors surrounding the teeth and in the gums could appear in the later stages of tooth decay. And those are the scientists in the 17th century of Europe who contributed a lot in our world today, especially in the medical field. I hope you all learned and remember their names and contributions. We've come to the end of our discussion. I am Jessica May GOBASCO. Thank you for listening, Studentistas. Bye!